Accelerator, a film about real time, promoting digital independence.
There's something that really stands out, something that really got to you guys.
Well, I mean, if we're really going to talk about our biggest challenge is, at my age, I feel I'm done with kids. And I love my wife to death. And she has not experienced that. So that truly, like I told you, and if we're being totally honest, that is probably the biggest challenge.
Hurdle.
Yeah, and so we will be going to counseling to seek, help in resolving it in a way that we can both deal with. But other than that, I don't really have conflicts with her. We don't argue. I could probably count them on one hand.
But that's beautiful. You're still going to try and work through it together and do something proactive, which is really cool.
I have to. I mean, I'm called to do that. I mean, when I have challenge, I go to the Bible and say, well, God, how would you have me? And it's straight out in there. Seek wise counsel. So.
Do you do the thing where you just open up a random page?
No.
I do that all the time.
No. No.
That's scary. Because that'll tell you stuff.
Sometimes, yeah. I usually...
Oh, is that what you do? You just flip open a random page and it gives you the answer?
Yeah. I don't
That's some gambling stuff.
James does that.
No, it's not gambling. It's more like opening yourself up to, it's like your wheel, It's the same thing. You just have to be really earnest about it. And just so sometimes you don't do it, And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be a Bible. It could be any book. Anything could give you an answer,
How do you feel about what he's saying right here?
About the kids, or that being well, I think we both feel pretty strongly about it, so it's definitely a challenge.
For us, we decided that we weren't going to have any kids. It was a complicated decision. Strangely enough, the older I get...
The more you want one?
No.
Move the camera over here.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Great with the kids.
I've thought about it, but we came to something which I'm going to call our personal sacrifice. And the personal sacrifice is that we have chosen to help other people's kids, help other kids around the world, and have her remain as my child and me remain as her child. So the inner child in us, right, and our cat, which is like our baby, and the digital kid, which is my son I'll never have. You know what I mean? And I got him when he was young enough that I actually feel like I got the kid all grown up, He
tries to make him call him Papa.
You guys will do what you will do. You guys are a loving couple. You've been through a lot of hurdles already. And this is just another thing that will make you stronger.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, because when I just look at what we've gone through, with my kids, and I'm still going through stuff with my kids, it's been very painful. It still is painful. There's a nice little tale that I'm still dealing with from my two boys who I love to death. And part of it is selfishness, because I love her so much. I don't want to share. My first marriage, it was so separated, and now I have the thought of it's hard to even think of.
But it's so honest.
And we're honest. We're honest, But it's a tough one. And I get these crazy headaches. That's a whole nother story. Sometimes life is tough, So.
And one of the beautiful things that I think can happen with Lorelei is, I instituted a certain thing in our relationship, which is pretty interesting. I pushed her to become a photographer. I pushed some buttons in her personal creativity that I felt were necessary in order to give her as much independence that would be like if she was a mother to her own dreams, a mother to her own projects. Exactly. You see what I mean? And this is why in our couple, the key in the success has been always learning something new together. Every time we do a new project together, she's an extension of me and I'm an extension of her. As you saw, you worked with us today. We don't get in anybody's way. Everything is complementary. At the end of the day, we all do something and it gets it work. What a satisfying feeling. A lot of times when people want to have kids and stuff, it's because they feel they have a void. Something to tie them more together, a permanent bonding. The right thing to do, because it's a product of love created by the two individuals. Although the product of love can come through encouragement and creating other kinds of things that are birthed.
That's interesting.
Other kinds of things that are birthed. I don't know, when I first talked to you and I heard him talk about you, I got an incredible vibe about your art and your potential and how much he loves you. And all of a sudden, I really thought about us, you know what I mean? About how we live. And you know, anytime, I want to encourage you, no matter what happens with what it is you guys are trying to accomplish, you need to push that. Now that I've heard you talk about, you know, you gave up some photography and you gave something, it's time for you to combine with him and push because you see, you work together, yet you're independent. You do what he does, you do what you do, he does what he does, and then together, you do something together, and every time it's like having a new birth. It is such a beautiful concept. It really does take away the edge. It takes away the edge from us at all times. I love her like I met her yesterday. After 24 years, I say I love you to her 20 times a day, 7 days a week. She never leaves the house without praying for me, and neither do I, nor does she even come into the house without praying. You know what I mean? So it's that combination that really, I think, you know, it bonds us, and it's like having children. And you'll know when it's right. But if it's not right at that second, or for that moment, then what do?
You get a cat.
Such spiritual people like you that are always searching for avenues and ways to make things better, you'll find a way. And all I'm saying is I will pray to the Lord that, you know what I mean, you guys will find your way through that particular little thing that you got to figure out together. And no matter what, you got to be stronger than all that, because it's only one thing. You guys get along perfect. I always say, you know, some people say, oh, it's not going to work, blah, 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 blah. Why? Because of one thing? Two things? Let's go look at how other people live.
Exactly.
How many couples can actually say they get together and they work together? I mean, I work with her 365, 7 days a week. We're in the same place, same room. She's just one office apart. You'd think, oh my God, we'd kill each other.
No.
You know what I mean? But when I look at her from across the room, you just know.
When I go to the store, I'm like, I'll miss you.
I wish this on everybody out there because, you know, like I like to say, we are all going to die one day, so...
Guaranteed.
That is a 100% sure. That's,
I've never done it.
You know what I mean? You don't know. If you had to give some people some advice out there about dealing with, you know, an interracial situation, like, what would be your case as what would you say to people?
Well, you know, depending on where they live and all that stuff, I can't speak into those situations because I don't know those pressures. And from what I hear, some of them are so real. It's tough to suggest, but I would just say go with what you feel. Don't let color limit you. You know, because there's beautiful people, and if you're looking for a certain color, you're dividing from the pool. I mean, just go with what you feel. Have qualities or characteristics that you're looking for, and if you find it, then go with it. You know, that's how I feel, and just trust in God in everything you do. Just run it through that, and that's kind of my plumb line, just that truth, and that's kind of how I try to live. But go with your heart, you know.
Absolutely.
Lorelei?
You know, when we got married the first couple of years, a couple of things happened just with different people in the community. Like in basketball, the refs might treat Jeff a little bit different when he was the coach. And there was one that did. And I didn't, it's like, it made me mad to think that that was because he was black, because he's such an honest and honorable and just person that I couldn't imagine that somebody would treat him differently just because he was black. I thought that was crazy, and I just didn't believe it. And I got really mad, actually. I think that's the only time I've ever slammed the door.
Yeah.
I got really mad about that they were blaming it on race instead of just on an ignorant ref. But when I thought about it later, it was only Jeff that he treated like that, not the other coach who was white. And it was racial. So, but because I'd been your sister's next door neighbor and good friend for so long, and I'd been around black people for so long, I didn't believe that it was there, and I didn't see it until after I got married, and it was more personal to me, and then I saw it in a different way. So I think especially when you're getting into an interracial relationship, definitely do it if you find somebody who is right for you, because just like he said, don't don't disqualify people because of their skin. That's just ridiculous. But
It's ridiculous. I totally agree with you.
but be aware of it and talk to them about it. I reacted maybe not in the best way, and I got over it as soon as I figured out that's what I was doing. But it's a hard thing to come to terms with, especially after you're married, and then you go, hey, wait a minute, people actually act like that? I didn't even know that.
The interracial thing, if I may, I think that you probably have to, expect a little bit of discomfort with your family and your friends in the beginning. But if there's love, they usually end up accepting. So if you're ready to, if this is a person that you really, see yourself with, then you have to be willing to just go through the uncomfortableness for a bit and just trust that it'll be all right, in the end, and give it a little time and give people around you a little time to adjust, because human nature is to kind of band together, and it's us against them, and it's them, and and they're bad and we're good. So it is part of human nature to dislike something that is a stranger to us. So
you got to believe that things are possible, because if you work with love and you work with honesty and you follow your dreams, and most importantly, you guys encourage each other. I've seen too many people out there, regardless of color and race, go out and start putting caps on how high your significant other is allowed to jump or not.
why do you think that is?
It's because it's insecurity.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a beautiful girlfriend. The guy gets all paranoid that, oh my God, she's going to cheat on me. But why do you think he thinks that? Because he could maybe cheat on her, right? And that's when people get all whacked out. You know what I mean? I always tell people, I'm point blank. I said, you know why you got a problem? Because you're worried that somebody's going to have sex with her or with you. And what happens then?
Comes down to that.
What happens then? What? 10, 15 minutes, it's over. You lie there, you smoke a cigarette, you look at the ceiling, but and then what? It's over. It's over. Did you have a good time? Was it fun? Is that the person you're going to be? Was it fun? Is that the person you're going to be able to tell all your problems to? Is that the person that you're going to be able to cry on? Is that the person that's going to be for you no matter what? Whether you're sick, whether you're poor, whether you've got everything. Who's going to be there for you? Not that person that's driven strictly out of passion. People really mix up love, passion, and sex with what real true love and understanding is. Easily to mix up the two. A moment of passion can easily look like love. You know what I mean? That means zero. Big fat zero. That's a moment. Hey, you can have the best of both worlds, but the most important thing is to understand each other, get along, and encourage each other, and be honest and straight up. When you do that, interracial couple or not, that's when things really become unified and really become beautiful. When you get older, you get to do amazing things. I was telling that to Mario the other day, actually, which is, it's so cool. We're older now, and now, we have access to great gear. We have access to experience.
You can play, yeah.
We have access to people and knowledge, and I can just pick up the phone. He can just pick up the phone and we go, yo, hey dude, we need this. Let's get it on. Let's make this happen. We're going to California. We're going to hang out with Jeff and his wife from AxeTrak, and we're going to go trip out, right?
Here we are.
And here we are, because it's making those decisions and just saying, you know what, I'm going to just do this. It's not like, we're slapping. Go ahead, you want to cough? You can do it. I know the scratchy throat, and you're holding it, it's going,
I hate
how much longer are you going to hold it in? How much longer are you going to hold it in?
It just tears you up.
It tears you up. But, when you get to do these things, this is the beautiful thing. Always do and keep your word about what is in your head. Everything is attainable, and you attain that stuff by building levels. You don't just erect your house. You got to dig the hole and you got to pour the foundation. You also got to pick the location first, right? So everything starts at the beginning, just like in real life. And when you do that, that's when the ball really starts rolling. That's when your personal action comes down, and that's when your love, your dreams, and everything you've ever wanted combine into one beautiful melting pot. And then the possibilities are all there. The only person that stops you, there's no one else, somebody you know very well. Yourself. We need to bring this together and understand that we are all humans, breathing the same air, Our blood is all the same color. Don't judge a book by its cover. What an old saying. What an old saying that is. But it's the truth. You know? So, on that note, I want to thank you guys.
Thank you for everything.
So much
Both of you.
for actually inviting us again to your beautiful home with your beautiful energy and your beautiful talent.
You're very welcome.
You know, and we will be friends for life.
Yes, indeed.
It's we are all really, really, honestly thrilled. And you are such a sweetheart.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
you know, it's
and talented too. I saw your pictures; they rock.
Yours.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
Hi. So, people, thank you very much for taking the time to watch and write. Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Take care. Thank you.